Why did that not fix it? Okay, whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. So we'll be focusing on the Ekko versus Twisted Fate matchup. So we'll see how they fan out. Looks pretty standard. Ekko hard shove, Twisted Fate can't match his way clearly. Pretty much. That's why. To be clear, that is why things happen. So mid decides to early shove the wave, and what this means is that he already starts a guaranteed push. So this first Q would puts these to half health, assuming he takes the right rune page, and then the second Q should kill all these. Unfortunately, he missed this creep. So this means that he has a guaranteed push, and we'll have to see what he does with it, because if we zoom out even further, and we get rid of this, you want to start this push, because then you get information on the jungler. So you can go here, and drop a ward, and see what's going on. This is the only reason you push early. And I guess the other reason, not the only reason then, is because you have Elise and Ekko, so these two can 2v2 invade, or 2v1 invade, or even do an early 3-man gank, like level 3. So, because of the fact that Elise outpaces Gragas, out-jungles, out-clears, mid and jungle should have priority, especially because of this early push. This early push signifies that Ekko wants or needs to do something with the jungler. Because if he decides not to push and instead just clear and wait a little bit, then Ekko plus Elise can easily oh my god. Ekko plus Elise can easily get a kill in mid on the Twisted Fate, because Twisted Fate has Ignite. He has Ignite plus Flash. So level 3, this should be gone based on this push. Based on what this means. Because he's not going to be able to get it here because he missed this minion. And if he does get it here, it's not going to bounce back. And it's not going to reset perfectly either. It'll be like closer to here. So there's all this to think about, and there's only been literally one action in the lane. So he has it in 155, and he mastery spams, misses his Q, doesn't hit any minions, doesn't drop a ward. We do not want to see Gragas. What we know so far is that because of bottom lane coming into lane late, we absolutely know for a fact that, or I guess unless they're faking it, but it's very likely that Gragas started here or here. And nobody really starts this. And nobody really starts this. So he had to have started here. So what does this mean for Gragas? This means that he's probably going to go blue, wolves, wraiths, red, Krugs, base. Or he could do blue, wolves, red, like this. And then come here, or come here. This means that bottom lane is free to aggress and push up. And this also means that mid lane needs to be very cautious. Because he's likely going to be the target based on the fact that he's pushing. So if we go back to mid lane, what mid lane really desperately needs to do is he needs to drop this ward or this ward. And that's why when I said that he pushed like this, he should go for this ward here or this ward here or over the wall. It's hard to see. Over this wall or over here. Any of these walls. Because if Gragas does not come here, that means one of two things. That means that Gragas decided to go to top lane. So top lane needs to be cautious, and he needs to be paying attention to this map. Or it means that Gragas is doing a full clear, or it means that he based. And all this information will depend on what Ekko should be doing, and what top lane should be doing. Because bottom lane is relatively free to aggress for the next 2 or so minutes while he clears. This is Creative Suite, which lets me zoom out like that. So he takes a lot of harass, and What he should be looking to do is get another shove between level 3 and 4, and then go to recall. Here, Ekko takes a lot of pointless damage, right? He's so chunked now for no reason. If we look at the health differential trade, Ekko's at roughly 40% health, and then Twisted Fate is at roughly 60% health. So this trade was not equal. And granted, he has the pushing minion, but if we look at the next minion wave, Twisted Fate's just holding this. He's going to take an extra 30 or so damage, and this doesn't equal out the health at all. And this wave isn't going to bounce in a turret, which then forces Ekko to overextend. So this is a scenario which he really needs to be careful for, because Ekko's chunked. We know that Gragas starts top bot side, so he's going to be here soon, so he has to ward this, which it looks like he's going to do. And these minions are going to be frozen here. They're not going to get in, which means that Ekko has to walk up here at the very least to be able to touch the next minion wave. And this opens him up to Gragas' path here, which is why he needs this ward. Like I said, it does look like he's going to go for it now, but we'll see. But Ekko could have improved this trade by backing out sooner and not doing this like really weird Q, right? Because he took more damage than he did. And that should be very obvious
here.
to
I don't know
see.
if you've seen it yet.
No, I haven't. Alright, so let's see what happens. So Gragas is low. He smites it, and he does get the red ward. But, okay. So if we rewind this slightly, I'm going to have to go a little further back. Okay, so the second that he's here, this is greedy. Because we see this, and it's very likely that Gragas is going to get it. If he E's in here, right, he's going to die. If he Qs this, he's not going to kill it, because it'll hit and it won't die, and then Gragas will be the last hit. Twisted Fate is always going to rotate, and Gragas is right here. Right, like literally right here. This is going to die, which means that he gets a free body slam, and which means he gets a free W and a free Q. So he's going to take Gragas full combo. And this gets really greedy in a second here, because if we see the way that it plays out, he's forward, so now he doesn't have an escape, and we catch Twisted Fate in vision range right here. So once the situation's already lost, what he should have done is, instead of walking like this, which is closer to the Twisted Fate path, he should start walking like this. And then say, my flash is gone, and then flash this well. Because he chooses to walk in this blue straight line right here, which gives Twisted Fate an angle. See how these cut right here? I'll clear it. These lines are going to cut. Right? However, if Ekko chose to run literally against the wall, like this, the lines don't cut for a significantly longer time. And the actual range is like here, where they actually cut, and here, because of Twisted Fate's cast range. So this micro mistake right here actually probably cost him his life, and he could have lived, but lost a summoner spell. Yeah. Okay. So this wave is in an okay position for him to die there, because it is pushing towards him, and he's going to choose to push the wave. It shouldn't crash entirely. But what Elise is doing now is really greedy, because the mid laner is gone, so this Elise play is like super greedy. Just like this Ekko play right here. So what should have happened was Ekko should have dropped this ward, and then waited for Elise to come like this, and Ekko to come like this. And then together they go towards this red buff, and then invade. Because jungle plus mid is better than mid alone. 100% of the time, especially in the early game when this rotation is so easy. Because there's no commitments on the map anymore. So he decides to teleport back to lane, which is fine decision. At least forces him off red buff. Yasuo is missing, probably rotating over here. So at least needs to get out. Because Twisted Fate has first rotation over. And, yeah. That's a good trade. And now, okay. That's a great trade, but he throws the trade. He should take more damage right here. Okay, so he just takes about 150 unnecessary damage. Right now, this is a really great trade. Like, he chunks him and he takes almost no damage. But then he just loses 150 health for free because of the way he walks. He walks like this, which is like in Twisted Fate's range, again, with this crawling a path thing. If he just walks like this, he takes no damage, and then he's also still on roughly a half-second later rotation towards the jungle. So it's still a fine rotation to do. But he just does it in a poor way. And he doesn't get anything, and he walks really far forward. So those extra seconds right there just cost him another minion of experience. Let me make sure experience is on, actually. Really important to see. Okay, yeah, everything's on. Ekko isn't allowed to trade here because of the large minion wave, and he can't rotate to help this either because of this minion wave. So at least he needs to be careful. This is one of those things where you just kind of have to suck it up as a jungler. Because Twisted Fate is going to rotate first. Top lane's pushing, bottom lane's pushing, just like I thought. Once these waves even out, I want to see the CS differential between the two characters. Ekko should be ahead due to his shove nature early because Twisted Fate hasn't punished him. Like, that hard. He punished him a little bit, but not much. Twisted Fate takes a ton of free damage. This is really smart. But he doesn't have enough mana to do this combo, so it's a little bit of a waste. Okay. So we look at the CS differential. It's 26 to 26. Ekko should be ahead, so working on the CS is better. But it's not the worst thing you're behind because you are melee versus range matchup, but you just should have more. He starts his push around a critical level because Twisted Fate is almost level 6. And Ekko needs to base before Twisted Fate is 6 to be able to prevent him from roaming. He has enough gold for Revolver, which is probably what I would get, but we'll see what he does. Because Twisted Fate is now 6, which is an issue. So Gragas came to push mid, and this means two things. We know that Gragas is going this way. So this means that Aurelia needs a base, which she is, or she needs to concede pressure. I'm drawing on the map, by the way, if you can see. And this also means that Twisted Fate can just come here immediately, or come here immediately. And this is why she has to base. And this is why bottom lane needs to be really careful for a 3-man dive, because Gragas can realistically hold this wave. He'll concede pressure, but he'll be able to hold this wave from Ekko, and Ekko won't be able to counter the Twisted Fate roam. And won't be able to damage turret either. So he has to be really careful that he plays this properly. And also, Gragas could come in and still be around for a Twisted Fate gank.
What did I buy, TJ? I don't think you've looked at it.
Double Doran's boots. So Twisted Fate flashed. Make sure you time flashes in chat. Even if you just ping it, just make sure it's known. This is a good 2v2 invade. It's a little greedy though because bottom lane is missing. So go flashing over the wall is the greedy part. Doing this invade right in this corridor right here is fine. That's fine. But flashing is really greedy because their bottom lane is always going to rotate first. Twisted Fate's pressuring the map, so Ekko needs to get this shoved in to get turret damage, even if he doesn't auto-attack it at all. But because Twisted Fate is committing really hard, he needs to be auto-attacking this because he can't come here already. Or he shouldn't be able to be on this room. So getting this turret damage here is better, or coming to threaten and dive, or pressure their top lane. They shouldn't be staying. This is just really stupid play, and he might have something successful come out of it. That's a good usage of ult to not be stunned, but this entire play was wrong. So if we zoom super far out, if a mid laner comes to pressure here, so red side mid laner goes to pressure, and you are not in a position to follow, so either can't follow, you're late on follow, or it's a lost 3v3, if any of these three conditions or multiple of these conditions are met, do not follow this roam. So do not do this. No, bad. You should be doing this. I'll draw some different color. You need to either one, pressure this turret by pushing this wave in, force them to miss experience and damage the turret, because mid-turret health is so ridiculously important, or pressure here. Because the second that Twisted Fate is already all the way down here, you can't counter. You are too far to have an impact on the gank. You'll be late. Some people have already died. They'll have backed off, whatever. Instead, getting the other pressure somewhere on the map is better. Even if you're not matching the same pressure, you need to match some pressure.
Hey TJ.
What's up?
You were just saying I shouldn't have gone bot. Like, I saw if I would have stayed mid, Gragas would have met me there. So what would I have done once I saw Gragas?
Okay, so what were we in there? Okay, so at this moment it is 7:44, and they're super overextending bot, but the health levels of Caitlyn aren't viable to go down to counter. Janna's full health, but Janna's not going to 1v3, and your jungler is off the map. Their jungler is on the map. He's not near, but he's on the map, which means he'll be here first. So if this fight extends any longer, you will automatically lose the fight because of the health values of these characters and your characters, as well as the earlier jungle pressure from Gragas. So if we play it out slightly more, we see that Gragas does come mid, but there is a whole, let's see how long. There's a whole 10 seconds where Gragas is not mid. That is 10 seconds of turret damage, which means you get roughly 7 auto attacks, 6 to 7 auto attacks, plus an E. So that's roughly 400 damage or so, which is a lot. That's over 10% of this turret. Or you can choose to rotate top. This way.
Okay.
Like I said, because if you rotate top, then you pressure this. You pressure a dive, which Ekko and I really can easily do if Ekko tanks first. Or you just pressure the lane in general. Get deeper vision up here. Do something that isn't down here, because this is a death zone. You should not go here.
Okay. Alright, I want to meet you again.
Okay. Replay what's going on. So the reason this is a bad play, even now, is because Janna has low health, low mana. Caitlyn has low health, low mana. Ekko has low health, no mana. These two are full health, and Tahm Kench was roughly half. There's no scenario in which this team kills this team. Elise here will always die before more than one of these die. And trading this 1-for-1 isn't really worth it, because Gragas is also going to come here. So that means that these three have to base, and then these guys who are healthy enough to stay, plus Gragas, come here, pressure this turret, or they go straight up to Infernal Drake. And either way, they win on the map off this play. They should win off this play. So Elise trades a 1-for-1, jungler for support. And now, like I said, these three have to base. Which means they should get Infernal or they should get Turret.
Yeah, I think Twitch gets it, so it's definitely not worth.
Okay, Gragas is just really greedy and goes for red buff instead of an objective with team. So this is just solo queue. This play should not have worked for Ekko. It's great timing on his abilities. Unfortunately, he misses the stun, but they should still get the kill. Okay, the second they get this Twisted Fate kill, the team should be rotating a dragon.
Could I have placed that stun better, TJ?
I think you could have placed it slightly better by walking up like a
I'm gonna
pixel
need you.
forward.
I think I tried to place it max range. I don't know if I did.
Okay, maybe. But it looked like you could have gotten it, I think. Okay,
Okay.
so instead of starting the scuttle, they spend another 4 seconds doing, or in Dragon, they spend another 4 seconds doing scuttle. And Gragas rotates over. So this is just bad macro play. Because the second Twisted Fate dies here, the entire team should be rotating to Dragon. Because bottom lane had push priority. Top lane was down here. And mid lane was dead. There's no reason not to go Dragon. And now they're going to attempt it. And now Yasuo is probably going to teleport down. Before Irelia will, because Yasuo has push priority. And if Irelia teleports, she loses all of these creeps. Mid lane looks like it has push priority towards blue side. Bottom lane does not have push priority towards blue side, which is interesting. But they're going to rotate equally fast. Good try on the blast plant. Okay. So they get wiped in a play that was their advantage. Like I said, I'm going to repeat myself, but this is so important. I almost just drew on my tablet with a pen. The second Twisted Fate dies here, team needs to rotate. Instead, they decide to go for a cannon minion. Irelia walks top, and then when they do decide to rotate, they do Scuttle Crab, which takes another 4 seconds. So all of this in combination is roughly 10 seconds. You can do this dragon in 10 seconds. With your bottom lane coming up, Ekko plus Elise plus Kate plus Janna will 100% control this dragon because Twisted Fate is down before this dragon, or Twisted, okay, so Twisted Fate is still down while this dragon's being done, and Kaylin traps this, and then Janna stops Gragas from trying to steal, and Elise has Smite Execute. There's no way they should lose this dragon, but instead they jerk around. They decide to go for a siege minion over here. Early goes back top, which is fine. They get Scuttle Crab, and they just do some weird stuff. And they end up losing because they overextend on a play they should have just gotten Dragon and based. Or reset. Which doesn't necessarily mean base. And now they probably lose the Dragon. Unless they double teleport, which is the only way they stop this Dragon. Yeah. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Because it's a 2v5 or 2v4 or 2v3 inherently. So when you do this teleport, you don't teleport to fight the Drake. You teleport to try to force them off by just pressuring them using abilities, by forcing them to stop damaging it, and then start looking at you. Okay. It's an okay play. At this point, Ekko built Merc Treads, which in my opinion is the right decision, or arguably wrong decision, but getting a defensive boot pair is better than an offensive here, because you have Irelia, Elise, Ekko, and Kaylin, so you have enough damage on your team to not need the offensive boots, but I think getting Ninja Tabi is arguably better, because it stops the damage from Twisted Fate cards, it stops Twitch's damage, it stops Gragas' empowered damage, it stops Tahm Kench damage, and it stops Yasuo damage. So overall, I think that Tabi is better. This is a misplay here. Mechanical misplay. So if we rewatch this, we see Gragas. Okay, and this is a reaction thing. We see Gragas all the way back here. So when Gragas is seen, you can't keep walking this way, because if you see, your bottom lane's pushed. They get first rotation, and then your Aurelia gank is useless, because it really can't walk here into a potential 2v4, and she can't walk like this because this is too long. So this, instead of this, needs to immediately become this. And I know it's unideal, but you need to do this, like, immediately. You just wait too long to react. And you overextend towards their bottom lane. And then right here is the critical moment. Right here, when you E, it's over. Because you don't walk here and then E, and then flash over this wall, but you don't have flash. So this isn't a viable play. So your best option is to W here. Let me draw something else. Is to W here, right on your clone, and then ult it, like immediately, because that way you end up all the way back here, which is away from the aggressing bot lane, like this. Twisted Fate's top lane, he's not gonna come get you, and then you stun Gragas even after he knocks you up, but then you still have your E to go this way, and then you're out. So your lack of a reaction here initially gets you killed, and then you get killed here a second time. So this is 2 misplays in a row that results in your death. And how you know you should be doing those things just comes with playing the champions more and experiencing the situations.
Yeah, I was trolling there.
The more you play the game, the more you'll understand your character and what to do in certain scenarios. So they trade top turret for dragon. It's a fine trade, but they should have gotten this dragon for free earlier anyway.
Yeah, I feel like this dragon shouldn't still be on the map. Like either team should have had it by now.
Yeah, 100%. You guys should. Okay, you guys should have had it.
Yeah. So I kind of lucked out on that because we misplayed it and still got it.
Using your E on this turret, if you do, is very greedy. So I really hope you don't. So what he did here may not seem significant, but he just got roughly 200, 300 damage on this turret. Which again, doesn't seem like a lot, but 200, 300 damage is literally roughly 7 to 12%. Well, this is wrong. Roughly 7 to 9% of the turret. This is a lot of health. You know, if you do this 10 more times, obviously you get it. But you don't consider the minion damage that already went in. And the minion damage that will come in. So this percentage may not seem like a lot, but it chips it down. And if this is at 30% health, this is much easier to dive than if it's at 70% health. Or it's much easier to force a group around. Because if the team is 1 second faster than the other team, then they get an extra 200 damage. That's a lot in a siege. So Ekko's doing the right thing here. Because what they did is they decided to commit 4 members bottom, their teleport, and everything. So what happens is the blue team gets 2 turrets off this, and potentially more. They could even get Rift Herald. Or they could pressure lanes more, give vision. But they should get a lot of pressure. Well, they only get 1 turret. So this is really good turret trading. Because it should be a net gain for blue team. As long as he respects Tahm Kench ult, because Tahm Kench is around here. Yeah, okay, so Tahm Kench comes here. Which he should know, he should be paying attention. So he should have based earlier in preparation for the Tahm Kench ult. This missed Q is kind of bad. But it happens. They just need to sacrifice Elise and hopefully get out. So the value of that trade just went down significantly because he greeted for this turret. This extra damage. Once he saw them leaving here, okay, so the second he sees them rotating this way, Ekko needs to back up. Even if he doesn't get this mid turret over here, but I think he did by the time they rotated. Getting any extra turret damage here doesn't matter. Because the potential of... What's up?
I was just gonna say, like I said earlier in your chat, it's stuff like that where like just overall awareness of the map of where people are going. Like I would have at least probably would have lived there if or whatever, you know what I mean? Just being more aware of what's going on the map because I just overstayed there, didn't even consider Tahm Kench ult, so I just need to work on that awareness, I think.
Yeah, so I'm gonna explain all this right now.
Okay.
So just 1 second. So we know that Tahm Kench is gonna come because Tahm Kench has an ult. So when you're split pushing, when you're pressuring, when you're doing anything, you need to know exactly what their team has. So you know that he has Twitch Stealth. You know that they have Gragas Flash E. You need to know that they have Twisted Fate R. Oops, Flash E. You need to know that TF has R. You need to know that Yasuo has Teleport. You need to know that Gragas has Ult plus R. You need to know all these things and consider this for the entire game. And that changes what you do. So even though you can't pressure this, that's fine. You got this turret, you got top turret. It's a net win. Like the trade that they just did is a net win. So take the net win and don't be greedy. Queuing the wave is fine, but the second you queue the wave, you need to run this way. Or this way. Just any way that isn't further this way, which is committing into their jungle, or this way. Because those two are losing ways. It's pretty much split. You have to go like this. Because this side is towards them, this side is away from them. And if you just keep running away from them, eventually you'll be able to either wall that Tahm Kench can't get to. Or you'll be far enough in your jungle that it's not worth it. But the second you go here, the trade is no longer worth. The second you go like up here. Because when you go up here, what happens is they're going to chase you. Because you have no options. You can go this way. But then the enemies are going to collapse on you like this. So you have to either execute or die to them. You can go this way, which isn't really a winning scenario because Yasuo can answer down like this, and then you're still cut off by them here and here and here, so you don't really have a winning play there. What you guys should have done is you should have just, you go here, they go here to Rift, they go here to Rift. There's no way that they rotate fast enough to get you a Rift. Or, if they do, you back out. And then you just take the net win and you're happy with it. But now that you die here, or not die, you effectively die because you're off the map, and Elise dies here, this is open for them to take Rift. So now what was a net win of 2 turrets versus 1, now it's 2 versus 1 plus Rift, or should be. And then this enables another turret, at least. So this is 1 to 2 turrets. And a kill. This side wins now, because of this greedy play. And how do you improve that type of stuff? Well, like I said, you have to consider everything they have and everything you have. You should look at everything as tools. What tools do I have to win the game? What tools do they have to win the game? And knowing these 2 things when deciding everything is how you get better at that. And then further, you break this into win condition. And spikes. So when are there spikes? Well, let's see. This team wins in mid game if they play properly. This team wins in mid game if this team fucks up. Well, this team has fucked up because they're being too over-aggressive. So now these guys win in the mid-game based on the objective plays. And there's no, like, good answer to becoming better at this stuff other than, like I said, considering every tool the enemy has, every tool you have, and playing more games. That's kind of the only way. And actively thinking about it. You can play 9,000 games and not recognize this, but you have to actively start thinking, okay, how do I do this? What can they do if I do this? How will they react? What are they doing? There's this thing called a Nash equilibrium, and it's some fancy math games theory term, and I'm probably going to mess it up a little bit. So I'm sorry for any mathematicians out there. So Nash equilibrium, oh my god, is something in games theory, and it's, I make the best play that I can make when I consider all of the enemy's best plays. And when you consider all the enemy's best plays, you're still making this same decision. So this decision does not change when you make in consideration all of the other ones. And again, I probably botched this a little bit, but this is the general theory behind it. And you need to keep consistently making your best play. Nash equilibrium doesn't exactly like tie directly into this where it's like, hey, this is my best play, etc. But it's just something that brings up the topic of what is my best play when I consider their best play. And not that this was the best play or whatever, but you making your best play when you consider their play is the important part. You have to consider what the enemy does, what their win condition is, and what they're going to respond with. Even if you are not in a state of Nash equilibrium, you need to be thinking about these things. And again, to clarify, a state of Nash equilibrium is when nothing changes, when each person is making the optimal play, and they know about the enemy making that optimal play type stuff. Really complicated, cool stuff. This, what the heck is that? That was disgusting. So they get a free turret. This is a really late teleport. Okay, so this is a fight that's divided on two planes. So the two planes are like this. Blue side, which I will mark with blue, wins on this side. And purple side wins on this side. So what each side does depends on who wins on this trade. If they're able to kill this and then pressure mid, this team debatably wins because they have a large wave in mid lane. Blue's play is to out-pressure these guys and then pressure the turret with this wave, which they don't really have, and it's not very large, but there's another one coming, and getting this turret. These four will out-pressure the red side in mid lane like this. Just because there's 4 versus 2. But losing this mid turret is really, really, really important. And that also concedes Baron control, which is up in 1 minute. Or it concedes this half for dragon control in 2 minutes. So each team has a decision to make, and it'll be interesting to see what each team decides to do. What will likely happen is blue will win out on this. But it's not necessarily the case that they should win out on this. Okay. So what happened here, blue should have won this, but they're looking for kills, not for turrets. Turrets are always greater than kills, or rather, almost always greater than kills, especially at 19 minutes. I think this is a true statement at 19 minutes. But what happens is, they commit 2 over here, they being red side, commit 2 people over here. And then their other 3 are, there's 2 here and there's 1 here. These guys rotate and cut off these guys. So that means that if these guys aren't able to pressure, let me change that color. That means that if this blue squadron of 4 aren't able to pressure here, then they need to back up very, very quickly. Because these guys are always going to get the flank, either here or here. And it's just going to be a collapse, and it's going to end up being a 4 versus 5. Because this guy is pressured out. Dead in this case, but pressured out. And what doesn't happen is the team does not respect this quick enough. Especially when they're not considering Twisted Fate has ult. He could have immediately ulted in them. Gragas has flash. Do they know that? They should know that. Tom Kench, he does not have ult. But I'll slide if they don't know that. Cooldown. Twitch can go invisible. And Yasuo will flank here. Is that the best flank? No. But they need to consider this kind of stuff because they don't really have a tank. This squadron. They have Irelia, who's not really a tank. Very easy to kill. They have Ekko, who's not a tank, but a little more difficult to kill. Elise is out of the fight. And they have Caitlyn, who's easy to kill, and Jen, who's easy to kill. So this crumbles right here very quickly of the pressure of a 5v4 because the only way that these 4 beat these 5 is if Caitlyn's able to set up for a long time and Janna and Ekko are able to defend the Caitlyn. But when they're on a multiple-sided flank of 2 here, like I said, 1 here, and 2 here, there's never a case in which Caitlyn can defend against all of these angles. And with that in mind, they need to respect this. Oops. So these are the types of things that players need to be thinking about when pushing for this turret, right? Because pushing for this turret is an okay play. They could do it. But the second that Elise dies here, or even slightly before, these guys need to be having their camera over here. They need to be watching Elise, which seems weird, right? But somebody has to be watching Elise to know what's going to happen. Because the second she dies, the fight's over. Because they're going to rotate. So if they don't get out in time, they lose. And they don't get out in time, and they do lose. And off of this, the red team should maybe be able to get Baron pressure, if not just lane priorities. Thank you for following. Saint Lake.
Hey, TJ.
What's up?
So just to prevent that crap play, we just need to be aware that Elise got out pressure, just have better awareness of that, and just recede earlier because we're just gonna lose, obviously.
Yeah, so pretty much in summary, you have to be watching Elise, and when you see that she's going to down, she will go down. You guys have to back up because then you get flanked, like I described, like 100% of the time. If Elise lives and you know they're chasing her, well then okay, you can continue going a little bit and pressure a little more. But you always have to be wary that you already lost the fight because Elise is out of resources. She's out of health or she's out of mana or whatever.
Yeah. And so as soon as she got zoned out, we were basically screwed at that point.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't back up, you were screwed, and you guys didn't back up, and you were screwed.
All right, I'm gonna mute you.
Okay. How do you have that camera view? It is called Creative Suite. It is from Skin Spotlight. It's how people do their montage plays and everything. Yep. Thank you. I really like it for VOD reviews because it gives me a whole wide angle and it allows me to explain concepts like that very easily with a map wide view. Ekko was smart to not go in. He couldn't have had enough pressure if he went in, so doing that is fine. Okay, so the second that Rift Herald is popped, Ekko can no longer go top. Or rather, he can no longer go this way. Because they're always going to lose this turret. 100% of the time. Because Yasuo, it's not that he's incredibly strong, but he'll be able to maneuver this for a little bit. Because of Windwall. And these guys get free pressure here. Which, these guys getting free pressure, you can't really help. But you have to answer this way now, because Rift Herald hurts. Not that she's like some unkillable demon god or anything, but you guys going here, at very best you kill Yasuo. But by this time, you're already going to lose 50% of this turret, at least. Meanwhile, you're going to lose 100% of this turret, or you should lose 100% of this turret. Because they have 4 here. Let me erase and draw in different colors. So the resource allocation right now is 4. These are unclear colors. Okay, so it's 2 blues here, 2 blues here, and it's 3 blues here. Versus 1 red, or purple, whatever, and 4 reds here. These 3 being Caitlyn, Janna, and Irelia, who is dead. So this turns into 2. We'll always get Dove, because Gragas is tanky enough that the turret doesn't matter. Tahm Kench is tanky enough that the turret doesn't matter. Twitch and Twisted Fate are able to force fights via flanks. You going up here literally says we're leaving these guys to dry, and these guys 2 can get 2 turrets, and you're going to lose some of this turret. You might pick up a kill, but you should lose out very hard on this macro play because you decide to greed for 1 kill. And this turret's already gone. Like, at least 50% of it is, and you sacrifice this turret. Instead, you should look to keep pressure on here, and then answer this turret. Because you saving the tier 2 top is less important than saving this tier 1 mid. Because what tier 1 mid provides is significantly more valuable than a turret that's already going to be half chunked. This turret is roughly full health. They already started attacking it. And what this turret provides is it provides protection in here, obviously, but it prevents people from going like this or like this. So they can't do this. And if they do, you'll have vision of them. Once you lose this turret, this enables them to place a ward in here. And once they get this ward, they have so much vision because anytime you go here or anytime you go here, they know. They're able to pink this more reliably. And if I clear this and go elsewhere, they're also able to pink here and then further get here easily. And also in all the way over here. So by you conceding this turret to probably get this kill, I'm just assuming what's happening, you concede your entire jungle pressure because they have a tempo swing right now. So they should be getting all these deep wards whenever this happens because they're able to. They can easily dive this. Like 100%. And Janna's probably going to die right here too. So this should be two and a half turrets for them while you get a kill. That's what this play should... Yeah?
So what if I do stay mid? What happens ideally in the Elise versus Yasuo plus Rift Herald? How does that play out?
So look. It's been 1 Rift Herald hit, and the turret's already 70% gone. This is just so much turret health. Like, this turret is going to die. So like I said, you're going to scrap this kill. You're going to get this kill. Elise probably shouldn't be even looking at defending this turret. Like I said, you have to give this turret up. This turret's gone. I know it sucks to give up a turret for free, but your top laner's dead, and they're pressuring mid. This mid is way more important. So what needs to happen is this needs to be scrapped, and Elise needs to look to defend this. Because she can defend this. Because Rift Herald will lose half of its health, like you see. Or even more, 75%. She can defend 1v1 versus Yasuo. It's not ideal, but I really will be back up shortly. You guys probably can't save this turret. Probably. Because if it's 4 versus 3, that same scenario is you're going to get doped by the 4 because Tahm Kench and Gragas are too tanky and they do too much damage. But you can delay them from taking this turret, and then you can save this turret right here. But they should be taking both turrets. And you lose 2 turrets, but you protect this turret. Which, the same thing applies with this turret. Well, I said this for this one. You lose your jungle if you lose this turret. If you lose this turret, you really lose your jungle. At least this one protects from here and here. But what does top lane turret protect from? Not really anything.
Not much.
And you couldn't save top turret anyway, because it was already gone. Like, Rift Herald will take this turret, or if not, it's going to be very low, in which case it's easy to take. So you rotating here, you get a kill, but you're sacrificing way too much map pressure.
Okay.
Unless you guys make an immediate Baron play, but that's really hard to communicate in solo queue. And you shouldn't be able to, because if you guys try to make a Baron play, they're still 4 strong.
Mm-hmm.
How much do I charge for a VOD review? I do these for free. So Twitch gets caught, and you catch him very well, but this is just a greedy play by Twitch. This should not happen. Okay, so what happens is you guys chase into a 4v4, but the goal differential is too high. They're up roughly 2.5k gold at the start of this fight. They have more turrets, they have tempo swings, and you guys just use resources on top lane. You used health, you used mana. Not much, but you used some. And you're not able to fight in this defensive zone that Caitlyn fought. So you guys are always going to lose this fight when you start chasing. Because even though you kind of chunk Twitch, he has Gragas to peel, he has Tahm Kench to peel. And he's Twitch with both sums. And you're not fed enough to one-shot him. Like I said, like you chunked him. But he's going to be able to regenerate some health via red buff, which you see he has. I don't mean to draw that. With red buff. And probably a potion if he has it, but it looks like he didn't. But like I said, he has both sums. You guys can't kill him because you don't have enough dive. Elise can't dive into Gragas and Tahm Kench. Ekko can't really dive into Tahm Kench Gragas once they reposition. So overall, it's just a bad play to chase. Because now, they should be able to get this turret again. Because Caitlyn's chunked out of the fight, you're half health, and your Elise is dead. So you guys chasing is like, you can say like, oh, well, I can't control my teammates. But what you could have done is, once you went here, start walking here. And then ping, don't go. Because you guys don't win this fight. It takes a miracle for you to one-shot Twitch. Because of their turn potential. Like, they just have such a good team comp that you can't do that type of stuff. So you have to respect the rotation, you have to answer top, yeah. They should really get this turret or Baron. Looks like they're deciding to go Baron. Or maybe to you, but this is a dumb play to go to you. Okay, so this is that issue you just said, right? You have to consider everything that's going to happen. So if we reconsider the map that we just saw, the pressure that's on the map is that you lost your Irelia, you lost your Elise, Caitlyn has to base. So the only two that are on the map are Janna and Ekko. You only have this pressure on the map, right? You just saw them in mid lane, and you know that they went this way because you had vision of them via creep and turret. You know that they did not go this way, so this is wrong, which means they can only be on this side of the map. You have to be watching this type of stuff because that means they're either here, or here, or here. But either way, you walking this way is literally you walking into them, no matter where they are. Because if they're here, right? If they're here, you're walking towards them. If they're here, you're walking towards them. If they're here, you're walking towards them. And the pressure on the map, like I described earlier, is you two versus them. So mid support versus mid plus jungle plus 80 carry plus top. You lose 100% of the time if you go towards your jungle. You just have to concede the pressure. Try to get the creep push if you can, and scrap whatever you like. Stop whatever you can. But you going towards them is just a map of lack of map awareness. And you're not considering or respecting their pressure. So maybe you just need to start respecting their pressure more, because this is a consistent issue that you have identified, and it's really important to really try to fix those issues, because that's a really big issue. Thanks for following, Sup Junior. Okay, so it looks like you're gonna do something. Oh, never mind, that's not your ping. Okay. Let me check your item build, actually. So your item build, it's fine. I would have debated for Tabi, but you haven't really bought too many pink wards, so make sure you're buying pink wards. Your main objective this game should be probably to 1-3-1, and you guys haven't forced a 1-3-1 at all. And you can force 1-3-1s by setting up creep pushes, so setting up slow pushes or fast pushes, which force people to answer waves, which then force them out of a group 5v5 teamfight setting. But you guys don't win teamfights. If we relook at the comps, you have Elise, who's not a great teamfighter, Irelia, who's not a great teamfighter, Ekko, who's not a great teamfighter. These two are good teamfighters. But these three are better at holding off on 1-3-1s than they are teamfighting. If you look at their team comp, Gragas, great teamfighter. Tahm Kench, great teamfighter. Twisted Fate, split pusher and teamfighter. Twitch, great teamfighter. Yasuo, split pusher and teamfighter, especially with a combination of Gragas right here. So you guys don't win teamfights, so you need to be forcing this 1-3-1, especially when you were relatively strong. Not even relatively strong, but you could pressure the map with Ekko via your push. So Ekko and Irelia are stronger than TF and Yasuo. And your 3 are able to hold off on their 3 because their 3 are Gragas, Tom Kench, and Twitch, who cannot force onto Caitlyn, Janna, and Elise. And Elise will always be roaming between the 1-3-1s. So you need to be forcing these. You need to actively be calling for these. You have to be spam pinging. You have to say, hey, this is what we need to do. This is our win condition, and you need to be controlling the mini waves. So if you've looked for most of the game, it was kind of an extended laning phase, but they've had pressure on waves almost all the time. So you need to start setting up these pressures instead of reacting to their pressure. What's a 1-3-1? It means 1 person top, 3 people mid, and 1 person on bottom lane, which is a split push. Okay, so I'll go back to you now. So we'll see what you do with this wave, because this is a perfect time to set up a 1-3-1. Because you have teleport, and your team's elsewhere on the map. You decide to leave the wave, and you actively decide this, on them pushing towards you. So if you re-look, it's going to be 6 of their minions pushing towards you versus 2, 1, 3. And they have, I guess I should make this more clear, and they have 3, 1, 3. So this wave is going to push, because there's a differential of 1 melee, and the cannons are equal, and then the castles are equal. But these 2 melee, it's effectively 2 melee differentials because of these health. And this will cause this wave to push, which means you have to answer it in roughly 1 minute to 2 minutes. And this concedes this pressure because this means that Baron's open. Once this is pushed up, because you have to answer the wave or you lose this turret, which is free gold you're giving to them. And by you not being here, there's no benefit of you being here versus you being here and controlling this wave whatsoever, because you have teleport. Right? You already lost mid priority. You can't regain mid priority by the time that this is going down. So you need to be actively thinking about the map, how you can interact with it, and what tools you have. In this case, your tool is teleport. And minion waves. And mid priority, and vision, and all that kind of stuff. So actively thinking about all these things, that's how you control the map. That's how you control the game. That's how you win games. Did you watch the game just before this, where I was kind of detailing what was going on in my head by playing Ekko or Orianna versus Syndra? Ichigo?
Yeah, TJ, I watched it.
Okay, so
that was really helpful.
You heard my thought process, right? How I'm saying, hey, this is the pressure that they have right now, so I can't do this action, or I can do this action.
Yeah.
The way that I'm thinking is the way that you have to be thinking in order to play split push champions or to play lanes in general. Because that decides what you do and how you do it. Because mistakes like this, where you push it up here, if you just said, okay, they can rotate to me, you're not going to go here anymore. Because you know you will die 100%, or they will die 100%, or they will get Rift Herald or top control. And like right here, if you know you can't walk 45 seconds down here, because that's roughly the time it takes to get here, before something happens, you have no benefit being here versus here, like I said. So thinking about these things actively and what you can do in the next 3 seconds, the next 15 seconds, the next minute, the next 2 minutes is really, 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 really important. And you have to stop autopiloting games because it seems like that's what you're doing. Okay, so they get Dragon. You guys get Dragon, sorry. And right now, this situation, you need to be paying so much attention to what's going on, because this is a split front. So you guys have no vision on anyone but Twisted Fate and Tom Kench. Who matters more to die here? You're probably muted, so it's going to take a second. The answer to who matters more to die here is this guy. And what do you have? You have a perfect collapse. And by paying attention to the map, I know it's easy to say this with this omniscient view, but it's really not, because you should be looking at your map and paying attention to this stuff. If you watch the way I play, I'm tabbing here. 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 To see what's going on at everywhere on the map when all this is going down. Because his optimal play here is to go this way. Either here or here, depending on the way Twisted Fate reacts. Or here. Because what does this do? If he does this, this forces Twisted Fate to walk towards him or towards this way. And either way, if he walks in this direction, I should really change these colors. If he walks in these directions, well, these guys rotate here after they kill Tom Kench, because they're going to kill him because they have 3 damage threats on him. He cannot get out of this unless he flashes. And if he goes this way, wrong one. If he goes this way, then Twisted Fate is forced to either flash, which he does have, or he's forced to R. And once this is down, and this is down, that is effectively almost all of the vision control on the map for the red team, which opens up a Baron play. This guy is already dead. you can already count him dead or effectively off the map because these guys are going to do more damage to him than you can possibly imagine by cutting him off here. You cutting this guy off literally has no effect on this game. He's already going to die, or he's already going to be off the map. You cutting this guy off has a significantly greater effect because it's their carry, and it's their vision, and their damage. Well, that's their carry. But you kind of get this point? This is why you shouldn't be tunneling here, and instead you should be working with Janna to cut this guy off. Because this guy is way higher priority. And the cog one's already, or the time counter's already dead. Or effectively dead. Okay, so Twisted Fate makes a huge mistake by pathing this way. Him pathing this way is actually so stupid, he'll probably die now, or he has to burn those summoners, or his ult, just like I described. But he wouldn't have had to if he would have pathed away immediately. And it looks like he's going to die here, and this should cost his team Baron. Okay, flash. So you chasing him provides almost no value here, because he's always going to get away from you, because he's Twisted Fate, you're Ekko. You cannot stun him in time. Never will you stun him in time. Instead, you guys should start rushing here. Let him execute, let him base, let him do whatever. But start getting control here. This is way more valuable than the kill on Twisted Fate. Okay, so this thing that I talked about earlier by setting up this wave would have already been up here if you would have set up this wave earlier. Which means Twisted Fate would have had to have teleported all the way back here. And then he's more at risk. Like, he's more at risk here, but your team can't effectively do this in time. So here, he's more likely to walk this way. And if you look on the map, what they did earlier was they set up this wave. Intentionally, who knows? But this wave is set up that you guys have to answer this or you miss something. Which is fine to miss something if you get something over here. But if you don't get anything over here, you guys are missing this free pressure. You guys are missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 minions. What's up?
My Wi-Fi was off that whole time. It totally pooped out on me, so I just got back.
Okay.
I'll rewatch the VOD for whatever I missed.
Okay.
We can just go from where you are now.
Okay, sounds good. In summary, I said you should have cut off Twisted Fate and pay attention to the map pressure, because if you were to have already had this wave set up earlier, from like I said, this wave would have already been over here, which would have provided you more map pressure, because then Twisted Fate is forced in this area, and also this wave would not be here. It would be further up here, which just gives you more vision and information, which allows you to do stuff like this in here.
I think with that wave, I had the right idea, but I don't know. I thought it was pushing. I just didn't look at the minions correctly, so I need to make sure to always double check that the even minion rule or whatever, that I have it pushing correctly.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was a big mistake on my part. So I'll try to do that in the future.
Nice.
Alright, I'm gonna meet you again.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to rewind this to make sure that we see things properly. And I'm actually going to slow it down. That way I don't miss any frames. Okay. So, the information you have right now is Twitch is here, Twisted Fate is here, Gragas is here. I don't remember the last time I saw this guy, but I wasn't paying attention for him. And I don't remember the last time I saw this guy, because I wasn't paying attention for him. I should have been paying attention for him, but I'm reviewing this, so I didn't pay attention to them. So I'm just going to assume that I don't know where they are. Okay, you have Elise who's basing, you have Janna in base, Caitlyn on the map, and Irelia on the map. So your effective pressure is you have Caitlyn, you have Ekko, and you have Irelia. Okay. So I'm going to rewrite this. Caitlyn, Ekko, and Irelia. This is what you have on the map. You decide to make a teleport play on their Gragas. When you have the information that Twitch and Twisted Fate are both here, and that Twisted Fate exists, and that Yasuo with teleport exists. You should know Yasuo's cooldown on teleport, but if you don't know, you should assume he has it. Okay, so you're making a super aggressive play on their tank. Ekko, these two, will never kill this guy before this happens, and this happens. You die, Irelia dies, they get Baron. This is what should happen in this play. We'll see how it fans out, because you have no map pressure. You should die 100% of the time here. And so should Irelia. Okay, so right now we only see Twitch on the map. Okay, now we know that Tahm Kench is on the map as well, in the same spot, and that Yasuo is on the map. You teleport willingly into Tahm Kench, Twitch. At the time, you know these two are here in a losing matchup. Irelia is already losing. Okay? And your TP is about to cancel, and you finish it. Or your TP's... Oh, wait. The sound was bugged. Okay. So you teleport before you see Twisted Fate. But you know Twisted Fate is live on the map. He exists, so you know he should be teleporting on you. Okay, so now it is effectively a 3 versus 2 or a 4 versus 2 bottom. Now it's a 5 versus 2. No matter what play you make here, you lose. So this is just, again, that map awareness thing with rotations. You need to be paying attention to the map and the information that you have. Because the information that you had, like I said, was you know Tahm Kench exists with ult. TF exists with ult. Yasuo exists with teleport. And they're all in this vicinity. You know they're going to rotate here. And it's Gragas a tank. You cannot kill him in time. This is just a way over aggressive play. You should have canceled your teleport. Irelia is dead.
That was like, it's just those kind of plays that throw games. Because then it's, what, 5v3 on the map? They have so much pressure, so...
Yeah, so what you said right there is they have so much pressure and it's a 5v3 on the map. That's actually what it was on the map. But that's what it is now for an extended period of time. Because now, he's gone and you have no teleport. So now you have to effectively stay mid or top. Which just stifles you.
Yeah.
So, like... You need to consider those things before you make the teleport play. So you consider 5 versus 3? No, bad play. No, I'm not going to kill the tank, bad. And like you realize this now after, but being in these situations is how you learn about those situations to not do them in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Okay, so you answer the wave, cool. So right now you should know the second you walk up here, you can die. The second you walk up. Because if Yasuo's in this bush, if Yasuo is in this bush, Twisted Fate teleports you, Tahm Kench teleports you. You should know his ult is already about to be up. You should know this cooldown. This is part of understanding this game knowledge. This is how people make those educated decisions. They know these cooldowns. Because the second you step here, let's say this is warded, you're dead. If Yasuo is here, or if Yasuo is here, you are dead 100% of the time, because Twisted Fate is going to be here with his ult, and he will yellow card you, and you will die. So this is the type of situation where you just wait in this bush, and wait to see what goes on the map, because you don't have enough information to make this greedy play. This is greedy. You don't gain anything by clearing this wave. 3 seconds before you... Like, if you clear it now versus clear it 3 seconds later, you don't gain anything. And this potential risk is incredibly dangerous. And you go even further up. You deserve to die right now. The fact that you're not dead is just solo queue. Twisted Fate is bottom, but like, you don't know this. You do not know that Twisted Fate is bottom. So you have to assume that he can gank you at any moment. And that's how you make smart plays. You have to consider every single tool they have, and you should consider that they should want to fuck you with every single tool they have. Sorry for the language. I didn't think about it. But I mean, that's what should happen. Okay, so you guys burst Twitch, cool. You guys get Tahm Kench, cool. So now their bottom lane is down. You guys should immediately be going to either push mid or Baron, depending on what the team calls. Both are fine in the moment. Now you guys need to go to Baron. You guys need to get mid and go to Baron. Getting mid first is more important, because now they have no smite pressure for 40 seconds. You guys probably even get inhib if you choose to. Cool, aggressive play, awesome. I'm honestly surprised you guys don't win off this. Why do you guys not win off this? Okay, you call for Baron. Why do you... Okay. You guys should win the game right now. You guys can win the game right now. It's Twitch, Yasuo, Tahm Kench. None of these guys have effective wave clear, and you guys have okay dive to where you can force him off, and Tahm Kench doesn't matter at all. And it's 5 people versus 2 squishies and a relatively useless tank. You guys could easily take these two. These 2 turrets. And even the Nexus. You guys are healthy too. Like, look at your values. You have ult. Elise has ult, because she's Elise. Irelia has ult. Kaylin has ult. Jen has ult. Jenna has sums. Kaylin has sums. You don't have sums. Elise does not have sums. Irelia doesn't have sums. Your consistent damage has sums. You might not know there are sums, but you should know there are sums, and you should know that Twitch is not a flash, Twitch is not a heal. And that these 3 cannot defend against this. It's actually impossible. If Twitch ults, and then you go to Baron. You don't go to Baron immediately. You try to force turrets first. Because honestly, you guys probably could have ended this game right here. Like, you have Ekko, you have Caitlyn, you have Aurelia. You have so much turret damage. I mean, taking this is, like, fine, but you guys can end the game. Now, if you guys had less resources, then going to Baron is perfectly fine. You know, if you guys are half health, if whatever. But you guys had enough pressure to end the game there, I'm fairly certain. Looks like you guys end the game relatively shortly after anyway. Okay, so you get greedy, you clear. Okay. So, none of you... Aurelia has teleports, you guys could 1v1. But not... Wait, now that Gragas is dead, you guys literally should just run on mid. Again. And just pressure. Or you guys could set up waves, whatever. But I mean, like, either works. But running down mid here is perfectly fine. Thank you for following. I cannot read Korean. I'm sorry. Okay. You have a really good flank right here. This is great. You miss your Q, unfortunately. If you hit your Q there, Twitch dies sooner. Looks like you might not die. Yeah, so you missed 2 Qs. The first one's the important one, though. Okay. You guys might not be able to end because you missed the Q. Which is unfortunate, but it happens. Just try to hit those things. This is fine. It's a little greedy, but it's fine. I think they have enough resources to stay. Your teleporting is really good. Probably teleport here, though. Maybe not, actually. I think they're both fine. You do enough that you pressure the inhib. That's all you needed. Caitlyn plays this entire sequence so well, actually. You guys actually win off that really great Caitlyn play. She played that actually really good.
Yeah, Caitlyn, I was in chat. I was like, your micro is insane, dude. You played that so well.
Caitlyn played that actually really well. You guys actually got lucky that she was so good. Because honestly, most D580 carries would not be able to do that.
Yeah.
Like, not that she did, like, something super exceptionally, like, holy, I just flashed 1v5, not 1v9 outplayed type stuff.
It was
like,
pretty clean, though.
Like, it was just clean, yeah. The micro was good. She knew what she needed to do. And that's actually half the game, is knowing what you need to do. So before you talk, I want to point some general points. Like you said,
sure.
Your map awareness is what you need to improve on. And how do you improve on this? That's 1 extra S. You need to just know information. Just know things, right? You need to first know things, and then after that, you need to consider things. Which is, what tools do I have? Like I wrote, what tools do I have? And what tools do they have? Move away from this. Oh, it's clean. It's clean. It is a clean screenshot. These are the things you need to consider. Okay. This is like #1 thing, like you said. This is like, after watching that replay, this is definitely the #1 thing. Because I don't think you know what to do in some scenarios. Like, you don't know what to do. And does that come from lack of information? Probably. Does that come from not having experience in the situations? Yes. So how do you learn these things? Play more. And like I said, you can play 9,000 games and not learn this. So when you're playing more, you have to think about what you're doing. Every single action you take. If you rewatch the VOD that I just put before this, which I will upload, my gameplay commentary, you need to think about literally every step you're moving. If you're going to go right here, you need to know why you're going right here. What purpose does it achieve? Don't just blindly walk here. Because that's how you get killed, like in this situation top lane that I described. You need to know, am I going to contest this CS? Is it worth it? Will I lose 20% of my health? Is it worth the contest? Further, like, another example, when you go into their jungle in the early game, do you get anything off of going in their jungle? Yes, you get vision. Do you get anything by trying to contest the Wraith? You maybe steal the Wraith. Does that matter in the long run? Yes. Is it worth the risk of Twisted Fate coming here, Gragas collapsing here, you dying without your Elise? No. Consider that. Cool. So that's just like information. And honestly, that is like the absolute biggest thing that I had with this one. This was mainly a macro VOD review. I didn't really talk about micro. So if we look at micro, I mean, honestly, Ekko's not really a micro champion, like to say. He's like a macro champion. And you have to know this stuff if you're going to play Ekko. This is like, This is 1. This is like 17. Micro literally, I know Killian will argue with me, but this doesn't matter in terms of like what Ekko is doing, because he's a relatively micro in-intensive champion, or unintensive. Because his mechanics are relatively basic. You know, obviously he has to time his W, he has to know when to use alt, he has to know when to use his E, all that kind of stuff, but that comes with playing the champion. All this is much harder to learn. And knowing this stuff, it doesn't matter if you're playing Ekko. It applies to playing Talon. It applies to playing Syndra. It applies to playing Orianna, etc., etc., etc. All this stuff is so ridiculously important that this should always outweigh champions. So learning this stuff will help you climb. So when people come into the League of Mentoring chat and they're like, hey, I want to learn how to play Yasuo versus Syndra. How do I win this matchup? I'm like, I literally don't give one single shit how you win this matchup because it doesn't matter. Winning this matchup has no impact. Because guess what? You can just survive laning phase and whatever. This, all of this stuff is way... Oh, I just erased it all. Is like way more important. Into understanding the game and winning games. And this is what you need to work on, like you said. So I guess, how do you feel you should be working on it?
Turn the brain on.
Exactly. Don't autopilot. Do everything that I already said. Yeah. Your build, I don't know why you built 2 Lich Banes. Did you just buy that at the end? Somebody asked in chat. I didn't pay attention.
That might be a bug. I don't think I bought 2 Lich Banes. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, dude.
Like, yeah. I don't know about this one. But, okay, so that's like honestly the biggest thing about this VOD. Like, I think we spent 2 hours discussing this macro play, but there was so many things you actually need to consider in regards to playing this game. Because when people are like, oh, I want to 1v1 kill him as Zed, I'm like, that doesn't matter. Don, did I work on telling me actually what to do? Yeah, I did. I believe so.
Yeah, we did.
Do you think I covered exactly what to do? Or a general idea?
Yeah, and if I wasn't sure, then I made sure to ask.
Okay, so I think honestly this is the biggest thing from this VOD review. I don't think listing any other small points is going to help you very much. This will help you 900 times more. Understanding all these things, learning about the game, actively learning and actively thinking. So what questions do you have about the VOD? And then what do you think that I should have done to help you improve more, or you wish I would have showed you more of?
Okay, well, let me think of questions.
I'm going to erase this, by the way, so if you watch the VOD, screenshot that whenever you want.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch this over at least once, maybe more. I asked most of my questions during, so like I don't really, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything.
Okay. If you have any questions, obviously you can always message me on Discord like you do.
Yeah, of course.
But I guess I'll sum this up on an easy to see slide then. So steps to improve. I think we covered it already, like I said, but I guess I'll relist them to make sure that people are clear if somebody was in and out. 1, no autopiloting. Okay, so you can't autopilot. You have to actively think about everything in the game. Literally everything. This means items. This means summoner spells. This means alts. This means cooldowns. This means power spikes. This means matchups. This means everything. Like, literally think about everything in this list. And more.
Yep.
So I'm going to erase all these. So no autopiloting. That's a big one.
I actually do have a question real quick.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Like, do you I don't really know. I know to ward either like wraiths or red, but I don't really know which one is better when.
Okay.
Like, should I always be warding the wraiths because lets you know if they're just running to red, or is it more valuable sometimes to ward the red?
So these are 2 different things. Warding this takes less of a commitment than warding this, but this gives less information. This one gives more information. Warding wraiths is fine because it is generally a path to here, and this is not a very good ward for the most part. If you can get a pink ward here, this effectively does this job and this job. But pretty much you ward wraiths if you can't get deeper, because ideally your ward is here or here, and you only ward red around buff timers.
I'm talking more like first 3 waves, kind of like more beginning.
It depends. So if they start red, obviously, or if they start rates, you want to ward over here instead. But if they start bottom side, I personally prefer this ward because then I see when they do their buff. Because most champions will not gank without red buff. But if you're against like Evelyn, warding rates is better. You know, like there's always specific scenarios in which you'll have to think about what the enemy champion can do, and that will then change your warding. So this goes into this no autopiloting thing. You have to actively think about their paths and then ward to counter those paths. So like we talked about at the start, I told you where you should have warded or what you need to ward based on where their jungler should be, type stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So actively thinking about those paths will dictate where you ward.
Okay.
So you cannot autopilot. You should watch higher elo players or pro players and think about what they do. Ask why to the player, and if they answer, cool. If they don't answer, ask yourself, why? And if you can't figure it out, ask somebody else. Because you should know why people do these kinds of things to improve.
The only thing I watch a lot of high elo players like Shifter, Pro Belter, Bjergsen, a little bit of Faker, you obviously. Like, if they do something wrong, what if I assume it's right and then I go do it in my game?
Well, usually a player that's good will say, "Oh, that was a mistake," type thing, or they'll like look disappointed in themselves. You know, like you should be able to figure out that it's a wrong play. And, like, you know, if they die, it's probably a wrong play. And,
yeah, or if they lose like half their health for some stupid trade.
You don't have to be Faker to understand when Faker does something wrong, right? Like, not to say that he couldn't have done something better or anything like that, but you can usually get the general gist that it was wrong or that there might have been a better play, and you're not going to be able to seep and soak all of the information out of every single play ever that a higher elo player does. You know, some are elo specific, some are champion specific, some are player specific, but learning as much as you can from them is important. And if they're doing something, they probably know what they're doing as long as you're actively paying attention.
What do you think of Killian for Ekko?
Great, watch him. Great Ekko player.
Yeah, I watch him a lot.
He had a really great VOD yesterday that I would highly recommend watching before it gets copyrighted. He was down in lane. He lost to the enemy got double buffs. He ends up winning the game, basically carrying the game. Highly recommend to watch it. But yeah, what Donob said is pretty much the summary of everything that I can possibly say on this list. And, you know, I'm just going to scrap this and write exactly that. If you blame your team for losing games, you're doing it wrong. Because there's always something you could have done better.
Yep.
100% of the time, you could improve on something. And further, you know when you make mistakes by looking at your own games and all that kind of stuff. But just by playing the game, and playing the game in a good mindset, and not doing this, you will improve. As long as you're actively looking to improve. You know, if you're just playing for fun, you're just playing for fun, you know? That's fine. But if you're trying to improve, this needs to be a core mindset. You have to understand that even if your team is 0 and 15 in 9 minutes, there was something that you could have done better because you have to flip the tables. Why are you not 3-0 in 9 minutes? If you're not 3-0 in 9 minutes, you could have done something better. And if you were 3-0 and you still lost and couldn't translate leads, there's still something you could have done better. You know, there's this like whole like, oh, well, there's nothing I could have done better. Well, there was something, but it's hard to achieve, or it's hard in solo queue.
And it's easier to blame your team.
It's easier to blame your team, exactly. But there is something you could have done better, and those are the players that improve. You know, even sometimes I'll say like, oh, well, like, you know, this game was really hard to win. There wasn't anything I could have done. Yes, there was something I could have done, and I recognize that. Yeah. But it's easier for me to say, well, that was a hard game, and I'm going to just put off on my team instead for the sake of my mental health or whatever you want to pull. But you have to actively know in your mind that there's something you could have done better. And putting that at the center of your game is how you improve. Mm-hmm. So on that note, I will actually end this VOD. I think that was a really great session. So this
I appreciate it.
2:40. So this was going on for at least an hour and a half. Any last questions, like I said?
Nah, man, I think that's it. I really appreciate the help.
Cool.
Thanks for your time.
Something. You are welcome. You don't mind if I upload this, do you? Probably should.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay.
And I'll PM you if I have any other, like, if I have feedback or anything, I'll make sure to get back to you.
Yeah, thanks. Definitely.
Right.
So this is the link for St. Killian. He's an Ekko one-trick masters, multiple accounts,
Yeah,
great player.
masters.
Plays Ekko every role, obviously mid when he can, and highly recommended you watch him. He's a little bit more ragey than I am, but he does this same stuff. Well, okay, not this same stuff where he does reviews. He does reviews, but not as often as I do. But like, so in the game that he was playing, where he was playing Ekko, and this was Talon, he lost double buffs early, but he's still able to carry, right? And what he did while he was doing this was he explained what he needed to do, and he explained this exact concept that I explained. And it just kind of adds a nice sense of validity when you rewatch other players, because what he explained was, if it's Ekko versus Talon again, if Talon walks here, there's no way Ekko can catch up in time. He can't do it. So what does Ekko need to do? Ekko needs to go this way, or go here. He needs to go where Talon isn't, because by the time Talon's down there, or close to down there, there's nothing he can do at that point. He has to make a map imprec here, or maybe get deep vision, or maybe get deep vision here, although this one's a little more risky. So he needs to go on this half of the map and do something. And like, that's just a great point he explained while he was playing the game. And he does that kind of stuff actively while playing. So very great streamer. Highly recommended you watch him. Great dude. If you go watch him, tell him I sent you, and he'll give you a special little treat. Do you know any top lane streamers you recommend to watch for improvement? Honestly, I don't watch top lane streamers.
I think Voyboy plays some top.
I would imagine you can watch Voyboy if you're being critical. You can probably watch Viper if you're being critical. You can probably watch Lorlo. You can probably watch
Is
Dyrus.
RF Legendary washed up?
No. He's higher than the players in the chat. You can probably watch RF Legendary. I'm trying to think of other top laners. Oh yeah, Hypu says Quaz and Lorlo, like I said.
Oh, definitely Quaz. Quaz is amazing for education.
I know Quaz is good. Revenge apparently. Yeah, I don't watch these streamers, so if I had to give anybody, I have never watched RF Legendary, so I don't know. Voyboy, you have to be critical. Viper, you would probably have to be critical, and it's Riven only. Definitely, okay, so you can learn stuff from Henshin if you're being critical. Again, so you have to be critical. Okay, I'll circle these guys. You have to be critical of this and understanding of things. Actually, I can circle any player on this list. You have to be critical of all of them when you think about things. You have to be critical of any streamer, because when you're watching a streamer, like, you can only learn so much from a streamer. Just like Donav just said. Like, when you're watching a streamer, you can't always... Okay, so let's say, the jungler starts here, and then goes here, and then goes here. This is like cheese, right? Like, how many games can you actually apply this to if you're watching a jungle streamer? Like, you shouldn't go to learn strategy. You should go to, like, learn things. See how people react to scenarios. Or, just have a good time. Just, like, when you're watching streamers, it has to be stuff like this, where it's, like, completely educational, or you're not going to be gaining stuff out of it. And, like, even this, like, anybody who's watching probably isn't gaining as much about things unless you're trying to change, like, mentality, which is the way you think about things, or, like, learn about topics, or if somebody's explaining things as well. Like, I'm explaining all of this stuff, like, why the jungler should go here, why the jungler should go here. But in solo queue, it's not always the case that jungler will actually go here and will actually go here. Like, sometimes jungler goes, like, all over here, and it's just like, why are you going over here? Like, it's not a formula. Like, these are just the things that should be happening. That doesn't mean that they will happen, and that's just stuff you need to consider as well. So let's say you're a 5-0 Riven up in top lane. How much do you really learn from watching a 5-0 Riven? Well, you could learn wave management if you're looking for it. You could learn wards. You could learn combos if you're a Riven player. You could learn TPs. You can learn a lot of things, but you have to actively be looking for these things. You can't just go and be like, oh my god, Viper is 5-0 on Riven. I want to be just like Viper, so I'm going to copy his combos and his builds and everything like that. It just doesn't work that way. So you have to be really, really, really critical of watching streamers when you're watching them. And that doesn't mean you have to flame them in chat or say like, oh, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Why did you take this step here? But when you're actively thinking about what you're trying to learn, take into consideration, okay, they just placed a ward here. Why did they place a ward here? think about why they would in their mindset and what you can do in order to apply that to your game. Because if you just think about why he plays it here, but then don't apply it to your game, it doesn't matter that you watch this. You just, like, the only thing you gain out of this is educational. Or, I mean, not educational. You only gain entertainment out of this. If you don't, take this extra step. And this is the step that matters towards improvement. Watching and improving to your game. You know, like, you can say, oh, I watched Command Attack's VOD review. I learned so much. But if you're still split pushing like this into TF and Teleport and Tom Kench, did you really learn anything? That's the question. Dang, now I have to extend this VOD review for... Well, I'll just put that as a separate thing.
Well, also, Wings of Death might be one to consider. I was just thinking.
Maybe.
I mean, he's higher elo than most people in this chat, right?
Yeah,
he's D1 Masters.
Okay, so you can watch Ragnarok, but how much can you learn from Ragnarok?
Is that the support guy?
That is the support player.
I'm just using your logic. You're the one that said they're higher elo than people in this chat to suggest I shouldn't Jin.
I know. Come on, man. You know, he plays like support TF, he plays support Azir, he plays support like Heimerdinger. He's just like all these like weird things, and he's just so good at the game. You know, you applying this type of stuff might not necessarily.
I mean, I can't play support Heimerdinger in my games.
Please
get masters.
Please no.
Alright, I'm gonna hop off now.
Alright, cool. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks again.
I'll be uploading this stuff tonight. And I think now I will play a game.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Have a good night, Chico.
Alright. Take it easy, man.
I think I'll play a game now. Let me see what Poppy is doing. Yeah, okay, so guys, anybody in the chat, if you guys have comments on that, concerns, questions, feedback, anything, just lay it at me. I'll be glad to answer things. I'll be glad to take feedback. I'll be glad to just talk in general. How many Orianna games should I put in before considering a VOD review? At least 20 games. That's a really low number. But at least 20 games to feel out stuff. Getting a VOD review on your first game, like, you'll learn a lot, but, like, it's just going to frustrate the person teaching you more, because you just have to learn everything about the champion. So play at least 20 games. And for Orianna, I would argue more, because she's a hard champion. But yeah, at least 20. You played against him in rank 3s last season, being Ragnarok. Terror Jungle, nice dude. I watched Command Attack's VOD review and I learned so much. Yeah. I know. So actually, I hope you guys learned something. I kind of ranted a little bit, but I think that's great content. And that was the purpose of the VOD review. I didn't watch the VOD review, but if you were just pointing out mistakes instead of giving them advice to improve in the future in similar scenarios, you sucked. I think I did a pretty good job of pointing out scenarios and how to apply it into game. Chico's like one of my friends, kind of. You know, like we talk moderate amount. So I would say that he would be very blunt with me if I didn't help him. Or if I didn't tell him what to do in the future. So I think I did an okay job. But I'll definitely keep that in mind for future VOD reviews. Because that is definitely really important that people actually apply it. And they need objective goals to apply them. So thanks for that, Anthony. Good morning, breast support. Glad to see you. Hope you had a good sleep. Wait, where? I thought you were from NA. Are you not from NA? Or did you just wake up at 10 p.m.? I think it was a great review. I had a couple of questions, review of mentors, but my good question is I don't know which game to send for review. Okay, so if you want a VOD review from a person, you should send in this order. An even game. Okay. An even game. So this should be as even for as long as possible. If not an even game, or I guess win or loss, but preferred loss, because there's more to learn in losses usually. If you can't find a winning game, find a game where you identify a point you need to work on. So let's say you die 5 times in lane. And you specifically want to improve on dying 5 times in lane. find a VOD where you die 5 times in lane and give that to a mentor. Because that will allow them to focus specifically on what you did wrong and how you can improve it. And they won't waste your time. They'll focus specifically on what you want and then maybe go towards extra stuff if you want it. But like, if you have an issue you need addressed that you know you need addressed because you thought about your own play, then find one. This is actually, these two are like equal, honestly. But yeah, like Dono the God just said, find something that you lost is way better than finding something that you won because you made more mistakes when you lose. Most likely. From this, you should think about like, maybe an enemy player does something really good. Like, you know, he doesn't 1v5 you in a late game team fight. But he pressures the map, he wins his lane, he has complete vision control, he ganks everywhere. What did he do right? Because you can learn from other people's play just like you can learn your own play. Like Kuro just said as well, a game where you lost and you don't know why. Because here, there's a lot of room for working. What went wrong? Right, this kind of goes hand in hand with this. But yeah, those are the types of VODs you want to send. You know, you don't want to send one where you like, where you smashed your lane and then you win the game in 15 minutes. Like, okay, like you're just boosting your EP at that point. So sending a VOD where you got smashed super hard in lane would be bad. Not necessarily, because if you got smashed super hard in lane, there's a reason you got smashed super hard in lane. And if that's something you need to fix, directly focusing on that lane is really important and understanding why you got smashed. But you know, if it's an 80% win ratio Smurf you lost to, that kind of falls under here, but like not really. So I guess use your best judgment in a VOD review, because if you follow these general tips, you'll probably send a good VOD review, or a good VOD 2 review. Yeah, watch the game yourself too, so you know what's going on. And identify what you want to learn, like I said. Like, a general VOD review is okay, but if you have a specific question with what you want to learn, the mentor will be able to tailor it for you. So when Ichigo came to me, or when I went to him, whatever exchange you want to say, we talked about what he wanted to improve on and what he thought went wrong. So in this game, he said, one of my general problems is I have no idea about macro play type stuff, or like game information, or like I make these stupid decisions. And literally, if you saw, I focused the entire VOD review, 80% of it, 90% of it, on how to improve that specific thing that he wanted to work on. And it was a really big issue in this VOD review. So it's just like having a good VOD review just like enhanced what he wanted to learn. And that's why it was good. If he sent me a VOD where he like, you know, he went 9-0 in lane, he wouldn't have got what he wanted out of the VOD review. Orianna is easy to pick up but hard to master like most champions, regarded as difficult. LS actually recommends Orianna as a champion to learn a game with. I agree. Like, Orianna's easy at face value. Syndra is easier at face value, so that's why I recommend Syndra over Orianna. But if you want to learn the game, if you want to learn mid lane, Orianna is one of the best champions to learn mid lane, because she offers almost everything that a mid laner has or could want. And she's going to be meta resistant, she's versatile, she's a safe blind pick. Like, Orianna's just such a great champion to learn the mid lane. But with that being said, if you're not going to play 100 Orianna games a season, do not pick Orianna. Pick Syndra instead. Because you can be effective on 20 Syndra games. You cannot be as effective, or okay, wait. You can, okay. So like, if Syndra puts in 20 games, and Orianna puts in 30 games, Syndra will have more impact. In almost all scenarios. If Syndra puts in 50 games, and Orianna puts in, you know, 100 games, well, now the impact that you would have for playing these games kind of start to equate. So they kind of equal out, right? Like, you know, this isn't like a hard set number, you know? So just because you play 50 Orianna games doesn't mean you're going to be as good as if you would play, 100 Orianna games as if you played 50 Syndra games. But it's like, you know, just like a general number. Like, I'm just comparing things. So obviously it's out of my ass as well. But like, another thing to consider is you can play 50 games and learn nothing. So that's really important to consider as well. I feel like I get carried by the team all the time when I play Orianna. I mean, honestly, that's part of your win condition is Orianna. Like Donna the God just said, that's part of your win condition. Like, you know, you're not a 1v4 champion where you can dive the back line, win every lane, and then carry the game. That's not how the champion works. You have to work with your team. You provide so much utility. You can solo carry the game, but inherently you're not going to feel like you carried the game, like from raw outplay 1v5 type stuff. You can. It's just not going to happen every game. Like, you know, when you play Ari, like, okay, wow, I have 4 dashes and I feel like I'm doing stuff. There's Orianna, there's a lot of, like, passive feeling, right? So, like, let's say you have a siege right here. Let me reset this game. Let's say there's a siege going on here. Your red side Orianna. If you put your ball right here, this does not get measured. You effectively zone almost all the way to the edge. Let me more accurately draw this point. You effectively zone all this. You don't feel like you're carrying by putting the ball here because you're not doing damage. But this has such a large impact on sieges, on games, etc. You know, you shield your AD carry. That might not feel like you're having a large game impact, but you just shielded your AD carry. That's very valuable. And then other times, you know, you get a perfect 5-man ult. That feels like you're carrying. But all of this stuff, you will learn to feel like you're carrying because you're impacting the game in a positive way. And also, you might just not be good at Orianna. Or, like, not that you might not be good, but you might not be as good that you feel like you're hard carrying games. 4 dashes. Are you spreading propaganda to get Ari nerfed? No, so she has flash and 3 dashes on her ult. But she has a CC, she has true damage, she has unmissable damage. Why do I see everyone else just build glass cannon Orianna? Like, no Leandri's void staff, 5th item, always spam igniting sword boots. I obviously build the way you showed me, but I feel like no one else builds that way. Because people are uneducated about it, and people think that dealing more damage is how you win a game. That's not how you win a game. First off, void staff should be 3rd item. Like, in almost all games. Because by this point, it's more effective than Rabadon's. People have a misconception about Leandri's and Ludens, so people don't understand it. Void staff 5th item is way too late. Like I said, I do ignite sword boots all the time, but sometimes I build defensive. It just depends on the game, right? So I understand so much about the champion that I know exactly when to build this kind of stuff. Or I think I know exactly. Or I feel like it's better. Or to the playstyle that I'm playing, building that stuff is great. And you know, building full damage is awesome. It feels great on Orianna. But you can't always do that in solo queue. You know, in team play, that's your job. Because you have your team protect you. But if you make a mistake, a misstep, you die. You do 0 damage from now on. Because you're dead. Is that worth the extra 100 damage? In solo queue, probably not. In team play, maybe. Yeah, so let me show you the items really quick. I did make this quick little thing with items. And this is general. This will be in a video shortly. But as a control mage, as a mage in general, this is kind of your standard build. Like your options. So if you want to learn items, like this is like learning items is so important. If you want to improve, learn items. But on a mage, obviously this doesn't account to all mages. But Lost Chapter is broken. You should get this first item. If not, you should get double Dorans. And this isn't done either. But you should get double Dorans. But you want to aim for this. If you can't get this, you can do double Dorans. You can do Boots Dorans. You can do Boots Amp. You can do Amp Null. You can do Boots Null. It just depends when you need each item spike. Getting this should be core though. After this, you could get this, or you could go to Banshee's Veil. Both are viable. But you want to get Boots with this as well. After this, either Lost Chapter, Banshee's Veil, you need Boots. Boots 2. And then you decide from here, do you need more damage? This is generally bad. This is good against heavy AP, but if you're building Morello Banshees, you don't necessarily need them. So a lot of CC. And this is great against 3 auto attack champions or like Twisted Fate, Ekko, anybody that has auto enhancers. This adds extra tankiness and a huge power spike if you build these in combination. If you don't build these in combination, you might not need this very early. But if you get them early, it's so strong. This gives you more maximum AP, so if you look at a 6-item build, you get... So what you get from Ludens, you get Wave Clear, you get more max AP, which is great for shields, like Orianna's E. That's about it. Oh, and you get movement speed. But like, that's why you buy this. This you would buy if you need to block one core ability. This you would buy if they have like Elise, Lee Sin, TF, like one-off champions. So like Twisted Fate W, or yeah, Twisted Fate W, Elise E, like I kind of listed. Or you just need Magic Resist. And you build QSS if you don't really need Magic Resist, but like, you know, you're against like Ashe or really heavy CC. Gonna erase this. This is usually more damage. This is more utility, so like Lulu speed up, Lulu shields, etc. But this usually is more damage. And if you look, this is roughly third item. 1, 2, 3. Like, almost always you should be getting this. And then here, if you get this mask, you should probably upgrade to Leandri's by now. And then now you usually go into a defensive item. Or this if you want more max AP and you didn't realize you needed it. And if you don't get this, you get Rabadons. So it's really hard to build like a general thing, because like Down the God just said, every single mastery page, every single rune page should not be cookie cutter. Like, you have to build case by case. But I tried to build as close of a cookie cutter thing as possible. But there isn't any cookie cutter. That's why even in this, there's so many different options depending on what you need. And with this, obviously there's going to be accompanying voiceover just like I'm doing right now. Or if you look in the mid lane chat, it's pinned. And it's right here. See, like, here's just some general comments on them. So yeah, those are items. Safe said in a stream, you shouldn't really build Ludens. No, there is a time to build Ludens. Him saying not to build Ludens is because he doesn't want people to blindly build Ludens without knowing why. Ludens has its purpose, but a lot of people just say, oh, Ludens, more damage. That's not always the case. And it is kind of a win more item, like Kuro just said.